How are you doing? My name is Mauricio Cuervo, and today I'm gonna give an instruction on confined space entry. I've got a student, Ivan Cuervo. How are you doing, Ivan? Ivan works on a drilling rig, and he wants to learn the basics of what confined space entry is. It may look a simple task, but serious injury or even death can occur if entrants are left by themselves within a confined space. What is a confined space? A confined space is a place that employees can physically, bodily enter and has limited or restricted means for entry or exit, and is not designed for continuous employee occupancy. By the way, concepts included in this presentation are part of federal regulations in this country. The objectives of the class, Ivan, will be that at the end of it, you will learn what your duties are as an attendant, if you are going to be assigned as an attendant. If you are the entrant, you need to learn, what the hazards are inherent, to working in a confined space. What the importance of the brakes out of a confined space. How to make gas checks. Plan a rescue out of a confined space. Recognize warning signs and evacuate. How to isolate a confined space, physically, electrically, hydraulically. It depends on all the source of power to that confined space. And understand, Ivan, be aware that you need to get approval from the maximum or highest supervisory level on a drilling rig, all right? Okay. Now, Ivan, in this case, you will be the guy climbing down into that confined space. So, and always there will be an attendant. And this attendant is a condition to safely work into a confined space. This guy has got, certain duties. So, for you to be aware of him, Ivan, he can never quit his work position out of the confined space. He may be called over by somebody else to do something else, but he cannot quit. And this guy is signing on a form, a written form, that the work group will have with him on a drilling rig. Prior to entering, our case today will be work inside a mud tank. A mud tank is a tank that holds mud, drilling mud, utilized, to drill a hole by a drilling rig. Now, this guy needs to communicate with entrants. You, Ivan, will be an entrant, and you need to hear this guy communicating with you by hand signals, by voice, or by radio, So, there will always be some means of communications. And he needs to recognize warning signs. It's happened, Ivan, that guys like you, and as strong, as young as you are, will deny when they experience a physiological or psychological problem when they're working inside a confined space entries. There are multiple work scenarios that make up a confined space. Today, a mud tank, but people tend to deny. They tend to enter in a denial state, saying that they do not need brakes or help. So be aware of that, Ivan, that especially now that summer is coming, you may deny that you need some help. Another duty of the attendant to your job inside the mud tank, Ivan, is to make sure that how many entrants there are. In this case, it will be only you, so which is far enough, huh? We don't need, many people, to have a casualty. It's you, and you are an important guy, Ivan, on a drilling rig, working as a floor hand. So we are going to train you, today as of what to be aware of. And the attendant on top of the tank, this guy can never enter a confined space. This guy stays out there. He is entitled to cancel the entry, your entry, if a hazardous situation will come up. All right? So it's up to him. If he asks you to leave, you leave. You don't complain. You don't fight him. You leave, and surely he will explain to you what the deal was. Ivan, in confined space, work scenarios, gases and vapors, some of them tend to settle inside a tank. So, depending on the company you work for, there will be some gases that you need to check on, like oxygen, combustible gases, vapors, and toxic gases. In West Texas, there are many toxic gases, but one of them, H2S, which by nature, in pure state, is heavier than air, so it can deposit in this mud tank, especially if they are circulating bottoms up, and the tank has not been emptied enough. H2S, may settle on your tank, and that's why a gas check is so important, to get prior to your coming in. Now, the gas detectors, they need to be inspected and certified. So it's a trustworthy safety tool for the authority. You are not an authority in this case, Ivan. There are people who has worked in supervisory level before. The multi-gas detector that you will see the authorized people working with to take a gas check, they will check that the block inlet is working. There is a pump on the inside. There will be a sign telling that the pump is okay, and you will see on the left hand side the threshold limit values, lower and upper values, for each gas. In our case, we have chosen H2S, carbon monoxide, air, and lower explosive limit. Now that you make sure that the multi-gas detector is working, you do the gas check. So just like that guy in that work scenario, you just have your probe, attach the probe to the detector, run it in, and wait for a few seconds till you see a lecture on your gas detector. Now, on a mud tank, Ivan, remember how many times you have helped the dairyman on that rig to turn on and off the mud agitators. They run on electricity, and it's happened that while somebody is working in there, working too close to the blades of the agitator, somebody inadvertently turns those agitators on, especially if somebody cannot see you. That's one of the hazards of working inside a confined space. Not many people can see you. Not many people be aware that you're inside a tank. So that's why one of the jobs of the attendant is to keep you safe. So now we will have to isolate those mud agitators you are working close by. All right, so nobody can turn them on and probably hit you. So since they work on electricity, we need to locate the breaker to those agitators. We're going to assume on this work scenario that a single breaker is controlling multiple more agitators. Your job, Ivan, if cannot be clear before, is clean out that mud tank in preparation, for a rig move. So now this is how an electrical breaker looks, and we've got a hasp. and we got a log, and we got a tag, and you will write your name and reasons, why you are there, and the date, and authorized people will have to isolate that electrical breaker for you. So you got the right, to be there and make sure, you got a key to that lock, to that agitator, all right? So nobody can turn it against you. Now, if something went wrong, and I know, again, being you a young guy, you will not come down, but if for a reason something went wrong and we need to pull you up out of that mud tank, we have set up something like this, Ivan. That's a tripod, and that's something we will have handy on top of the tank. The attendant is aware how to handle it, how to run it, and we can hook this pull line to your harness, and we can get you out of there. All right. So, and we may have also ladders, but these mud tanks got welded rungs on the walls of the ladder, so that would be your ladder. And you will be wearing a safety harness and a lifeline, all right? So this will turn into your lifeline over there, all right? Okay. Also, you might use radios. In this case, you don't need radios. The attendant is just a few feet from you, so he can hear you and see you. In other work scenarios, Ivan, radios are required, like while cleaning out the tank holes in a ship working in the seas. So anyway, CPR or the attendant that who will be working with you is CPR certified, and should he request help from somebody else, everybody on this rig is CPR certified. But don't think, let's not think that far. That's why all the hazards are taken into account. And so, Ivan, as a conclusion of this safety debrief for you, and again, appreciating your time and your availability to this training. Only with sufficient training to the attendant, to the gas checker, the rescuers, the entrance, in this case you, as of the existing hazards, the stop the job authority, by checking all prompts of a written work permit, being the latter approved only by the highest level of supervision of the rig. It'll be company man and your rig manager. Then you can proceed and enter. So it may look a simple job, Ivan, but it is not. All right. So it may turn ugly. It may turn ugly. So just we'll do all what we can do, to keep you safe. So Ivan, just tell me, out of this something out of this presentation, so that I can walk out of this room thinking like, hey, this guy, he's smart enough, and he can do it safely. May an attendant quit his work position or not?
No, never.
Never. All right. Never he can. What gases, vapors, are sniffed for?
Gases like oxygen, lower explosive limit, carbon monoxide, and H2S.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And that's what the four most important. We do on a drilling rig. And Ivan, a can confined space entrance get hurt?
Yes. They can.
All right. So you can get hurt, Ivan. So, what safety equipment is required?
Safety equipment required is safety harness, safety lifeline, and a tripod.
All right. For this job, that's the equipment required. Can a confined space be filled with inadvertent fluids endangering you?
Yes.
Yes, it can happen. These tanks are interconnected each other by pipes, and if not all the pumps are identified, somebody may be pumping, mud to you. So that's another type of equipment that can be considered, for lockout again. Can an entrant be engulfed, trapped, or asphyxiated within a confined space?
Yes, they can.
All right.
Some of the examples are trenches, grain holding tanks, and mud tanks.
There you go. All right. Is confined space entry timed or timeless?
Time.